The Tour, the single greatest year-long championship that iRacing has to offer, in which 24 championship rounds will be fought, and everyone will know that the best driver, not just today, but over the course of a long year, from March to December, is going to be declared champion. It's a new dawn. It's a new broadcaster for the series. It's a brand new, amazing champion from last season. And now you've got to the top of the mountain. Can you fend everybody off from it, Eduardo Radice? Welcome to what we like to call the home now of the opener of the championship, Phillip Island, for the second consecutive year, here on the Global SimRacing Channel for your first round of the iRacing Grand Prix Tour. My name's Jake Sperry, and alongside me for today's action is Craig King. Daniel Costello is in the director's chair, and he's using the cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Now, to get yourself set with what makes this circuit tick, if you're here for the first time understanding the Grand Prix Tour, here's a little GSRC track guide with Joe Peak to give you a little understanding of how.
Welcome to Phillip Island. As the name implies, this track is located on a splotch of land off the south coast of Australia near Melbourne. While there's been plenty of racing here for close to a century, the track's current incarnation has only been around since the late 80s. And this version is a doozy. With only 12 turns spread across the roughly 4.5 kilometers, it's a decently fast circuit. But what really makes this place stand apart is the incredible variety in those few corners. From negative to positive camber, early apexes, late apexes, blind crest, hairpins, sweepers, if you name it, it's probably got it. On top of that, the front stretch tends to offer up a slipstream with its incredible length, but it then forces the drivers into a game of chicken by chucking them into the frightening doing. Corners like Lukey Heights stretches a car's grip to the limit and then shocks you with a sudden downhill braking into MG. Retaining something of an old school twist, unlike most modern courses, Phillip Island has earthen embankments running along many parts of the track. While it's meant to keep the cars safely retained within the circuit's confines, anyone unfortunate enough to manage to jump them will be faced with a ton of damage for their troubles. A variety of types of racing take place at the track, including motorcycles, lower-level open-wheelers, and touring cars. Possibly the most well-known among those is the Australian Supercars Championship. With the Aussie reputation of having dangerous, difficult, and challenging circuits, Phillip Island certainly holds up to the standard. The beautiful views of the beach and the ocean may lure some of the fans in, but there's no doubt that the incredible racing at this unique track keeps them around.
This is a high-speed playground here today from Phillip Island, located on the gates to the Tasman Strait, and a circuit that time and time again proves, at least on two wheels instead of four, Craig, that this is a great battling track.
Oh, it's a fantastic track. And remember, this actually did used to do some open wheel racing back in the day with the Australian Grand Prix. Back before it was an F1 series, so it has some caliber of sports car racing, but this is the open wheelers, high speed around here with just two big braking zones. That Miller corner at turn 4 and down into turn 10 after going down Lucky Heights. And I say going down, elevation's going to be very interesting today. If you don't know Phillip Island, Duan corner at turn 1. Fantastic overtaking point, but you have to do it around the outside because you'll go side by side into the southern loop at 2, and around the outside it's very high up, and those elevation changes will catch you out. So it's about managing the tires through the high speed, managing the tires through the hard braking, but more importantly, picking your time to make the overtakes.
Yeah, that's going to be critical over the course of today's running, and they will also know that on today's battling, it is Eduardo Radice who is the reigning champion and will be the driver that everyone will be looking to beat. Jacob Reed, the two-time champion, was second in the championship, and on his debut last season, it was James Byrne third. Volta Lux and Florian Kamai were fourth and fifth, with Alex Hagland, George van Rensburg, Emil Bernstorff on a part-time schedule, Edward Apariari, and Paul O'Regan making the top 10 of the championship for this season. But let's talk detail here for the moment, because this is what you're dealing with. This is round 1 of 24. We're going to run these races at exactly the same time on the Friday of every Formula One weekend. These are official servers out there, and it's a full Formula One distance. So 69 laps worth of racing action here today for you. There is no spare car if you crash it, and these things can be fragile, these Mercedes W13E performances. And because this is an official session, it's drive-through at 17 instant points. It is then an additional drive-through for every 8 incident points that you pick up afterwards. So, Craig, best behavior required.
You've got to be behaving, of course, with the fact that wide track here, you won't be finding yourself in the barrier a lot here with a lot of runoff space here, but the runoff will catch you and will leave you in there. So the best thing you want to do is keep it on the tarmac out there today. Otherwise, you're going to be very struggling out there. Interesting thing, you look at the track details right now, Jake, and it's a 33 Celsius track temp. So a little bit warmer than what the drivers may be thinking about later on in the race. The wind, though, remember, we just saw the coast. There's the coast. There it is. 37 kilometers an hour southeasterly, and it's going to go east most of the time. To give you an idea where north is, well, north is the opposite way to the start-finish line.
Yeah, so if it's coming in from the east, you've got a crosswind going across the main straight. You will have a headwind as you enter turn 10 out there on track, and the first times are in on the board. Eduardo Rodis on a 106 flat goes fastest, the reigning champion. He had 10 pole positions last season. Jacob Reed only third for that. Alex Hagland fourth, but beating them both on a 105.8 is James Byrne, who was in red-hot form at the back end of last season. He now finds himself on pole for the moment. Apariari goes very well at this circuit. He's third, representing Ghana. But for the moment, Phillip Kunhardt yet to put a time in. They've only got the 8 minutes and the 2 laps to set. So these times, they are going to fly in quickly, and it also gives room for drivers to go and put in time if they want to or not, early or late.
This is where what Phillip's going to try and look right now, and he hasn't even done a lap yet, so this is his first time around it. He'll come around the final few corners. We'll pick up the DRS aboard very shortly. There is DRS in these cars. This is like an F1 car. Here it goes, onto the wing it goes, and he now just comes on. You'll see the green lights just there on the steering wheel. That says that he's got DRS open, and you can see it right there. Close it straight down as they come to Doohan corner. Very high speed, and now the first time they start to just get down over the elevation as Alex Hagland goes up into P3. Phillip needs a time. He's only 10th at the moment.
Emil Bernstorff will be upset that he's in 8th position and can't get anything from his qualifying at this stage. You've got the likes there of Michel Rudeau here, the French driver, looking to really pilot and get a time down on the board and say, look, I can start mixing it up. There are drivers who are, I would say, out of position in qualifying right now. Top 8 all within a second. Top 7 within half a second out there. 9 flat for Michel Rudeau, and that is only good enough to go 16th fastest. Adam Webb is going to now make his push over towards the line, and what can he do with a bucket full of DRS? The answer is only 19th with his first attempt on a 110.2. You can hold the DRS open through turn 1, Craig, because DRS only closes when you hit the brakes.
Yeah, but you got to be a little bit careful. I know it's a flat-out corner, but you got to be very careful to hold on to that power. We're talking about Phillip Kunhardt there. He actually lost the car at turn 4 at Miller corner, broke a bit too much, lost the car, spun it around, so his second lap was gone. Rudeau, though, is looking to really try and just make some time up here. It's going to be tough to really get it going because the track has started to warm up a little bit now. Now it's 34 Celsius, 93 Fahrenheit, so a lot of track temperature now, so the degradation is going to be hitting as well on these red soft tires. Come across the line, put the DRS down at the very end, and what will the time be? Well, it's a good enough improvement, good enough for P8 for the number 17 today.
That's a great time, and it only puts him fractions behind the 2-time champion Jacob Reed. So that was a critical lap that was needed there for Michel Rudeau. Here comes Adam Webb to the line, and he does a 106.7 and knocks Emil Bernstorff, the number 1 rated driver, 9,100 iRacing, down to 10th position on the grid, and right in the mid-pack is probably the last place I'd want to be out there. Bernstorff is currently the only driver out there who could set a time, but I think this is him on an outlap here, so that he won't get around to get this lap time sorted. And he's got a black flag next to his name, which will indicate that the lap time will not count. So I can probably say that the first qualifying of the year is in the books here for the iRacing Grand Prix Tour, and it is the American who has got the pole position absolutely under lock and key. Then as they focus on Edward Apari, just moving himself around, he has used his quota of laps, and the checkered flag coming out in about 15 seconds time. So let's get that confirmation grid then up over onto screen so we can see where the field is going to stack up for today. And it is James Byrne on that pole, a 105.854. He will have the reigning champion, Eduardo Radice, for company on that front row. Row 2 will house Alex Hagland and Edward Apari, with Volta Lux going in 5th, and a debutant, the only debutant at this opening round, Sander Halgaru, in 6th position. You've then got Jacob Reed and Michel Rudeau 7th and 8th, with Adam Webb 9th and Emil Bernstorff in 10th.
What a surprise to see Emil down in 10th position, but George van Rensburg will be in 11th with Philip Koenhart right beside him, and then Sebastian Riccal will be in 13th with Max Barnes in 14th. Forim Kamaya will be in 15th with Lau Pinar in that 16th, and then Norton Motter takes 17th. Jeffrey Lawler will be 18th. Ali Gauchman will be the last of the time qualifiers in 19th, with Kent Nielsen in 20th, and one person on their own, Jake, on 21st. Balazs Gaillard will be in 21st.
Balazs Gaillard and Sebastian Rekov both have the tie for the most starts without a championship point being scored. And in the GSRC Championship, as it will be called, it would be a top 10 that you need to score points. Rekov and Gaillard have a combined 26 starts without a point between them. So they'll be looking to change that as they get themselves set. For James Byrne, he will move with a pole position, a critical pole position, as turn 2 will be the most important place to go and get the lap times correct. For James Byrne, only his second pole position in Grand Prix Tour history. So that is an important mark for him to go and work with, that he stands at the front. Jacob Reed down in 7th will have work to do, and they run with the C2, C3 and C4 tyres. They don't have any other tyre compounds to choose from. So today it's going to be a heavy tyre user of a circuit. So we're expecting a 2 or a 3 stop here today to go and get this sorted. Drivers now looking to line themselves up on the grid, and all 21 are there and ready. Lights on for the Grand Prix Tour for 2026. Lights then are going to be out for the Grand Prix Tour, and they get themselves underway. James Byrne goes nowhere off the start. Eduardo Radice screams into the race lead as he now drives on by. Hagland now up into 2nd, and everybody looking for a run. Jacob Reed's had an absolute stormer of a start. He's already challenging for 3rd position as they work into the southern loop for the first time. Driving's going to be so critical on these opening laps, but critically everyone has got through the opening corners effectively. The reigning champion leads, but the fight for 3rd, Apari early on the brakes. Wide goes Radice. He gets a little tap behind from Alex Hagland, looking to go for the race lead now. Up at Siberia around the outside. Not going to get there, but it is a very important start with drivers on cold tyres at Phillip Island.
The cold tyres really catching everybody out there, and James Byrne, he burnt the tyres up a bit too much on the start and was just losing out. Adam Webb trying to make some time up as well. I say he's trying to make some time up. He just sees Emil Bernstorff right in front of him, just take up 2 positions in this race. Hard charger of the day is Jacob Reed. That's crucial. We talked about the strategy just there before the start, and I'll tell you right now, only a handful of drivers are on the hard. One of them is Jacob Reed. James Byrne is actually on the medium, so this is going to be an interesting place. Is there going to be an overtake here?
3 wide.
3 wide at the front, and I wonder if you can't make that round the outside. Jacob Reed. Jacob Reed, stop it. And James Byrne takes it on the outside of Thuan corner. What a move to start the season.
Alex Hagland has been robbed blind there at turn 1, Doohan corner. Magical move, but here comes James Byrne to attack Jacob Reed. He's not going to quite get there. Oh, he is, because Reed's run wide, and so he'll drop one place there for his troubles. Back into third, still side by side between Emil Bernsdorf and Sander Haugerud for position. Haugerud stuck on the outside of Siberia. He'll lose the place, and so they will now find themselves. Radice leading a second and a half, and that's critical because on lap 3, the drag reduction system comes into play. You get that extra boost along the straight, but you've got to be within a second of the DRS activation zone.
Yeah, and I just wonder if they're going to be close enough right now. Jacob lost a little bit of time to James at the front. The Hagland's going to be able to get a little bit of DRS right now. We'll just see if he gets the green light to say, you are ready for this. And I think he might be a little bit too early. It's not till lap 3. I'm thinking of the modern day F1 rules with lap 2 here. But now this is the old school, as I like to say, the best way we drove, Jake, with the 24 cars and everybody going on. Emil Bernsdorf remembers those because he was there at one stage. He goes up the order, and that's a vital start for him to go up to 6th already. He's up 4 places, same as Jacob Reed behind them. Hagland is trying to hold off Alex Webb. How long can he hold it right now? Mills still going side by side. He's not going to look for around the outside of Miller. We've seen drivers go a bit too deep and lock up the tyres, and he's made that stick.
Sorry, George Van Rensburg backwards at Miller corner. Sorry, he's going to have to wait for the whole field to go by before he goes through. He's got the most retirements in Grand Prix Tour history with 18. He's lucky he's not been collected.
Everyone just really caught the eyes on that, was able to make sure they weren't looking to go a bit too aggressive into that corner. It's such an open space, this track. You're able to see a lot in front of you, and I think that did help everybody. But unfortunately for Rensburg, going to have to do it the hard way, all the way down there a few seconds behind everybody else. But Walter Lutz still looking to go, and now we're going to be thinking about this DRS up ahead, side by side, with Bernsdorf getting past Hagland. Well, Bernsdorf is now up 6 places. This has been a climb, and I wonder if he's really ticked off right now that he had a really bad start.
Well, Emil is a very accomplished driver, a former GP2 driver, believe it or not, in the real world. He had one season with Trident, I believe it was, and he drove very accomplishedly at that level. Lyle Pinar then in 12th position, middle of the pack here with Max Barnes. Florian Kammeyer is there in front in 11th. He's a race winner in this series, is Florian Kammeyer. He's someone who does really, really well out there at this moment in time at the more technical circuits. Higher speed circuits like this one maybe struggles a little bit more to deal with, but Kammeyer, he sits there. As far as it goes, everyone is on a medium with the exception of Jacob Reed, Walter Lutz, Edward Apari-Ari, Norton Motta, Balazs Galliard and Ali Ghoshman. I believe Florian is on a hard tyre at the moment as well, which would make the 7th of the hard tyre runners he is. So outside of that, everyone else starting this race on a medium compound tyre.
Let's just have a quick look at a replay here of what happened to Rensburg coming down here, and might be similar to what happened to Phillip Coonhart earlier on. No, he's actually going for the overtake, and I think he's gone a bit too hot there. Tried to slam onto the brakes, and the brakes just locked up, and it said no. And look how everyone just has to get around him. Smartly gets around him, but that's just unfortunate. Have to wait for everybody. We talked the strategy there, and really the hards, you're looking at a 2-stopper. That'd be going back onto the hards in about 25 or so laps. You do another set of hards, and then you'll do what looks to be a set of softs, or mediums, sorry. Jeffrey Lawler doesn't need to worry about that. He's just gone straight on. These drivers are on the mediums, and they're happy enough as they are. That tyre deck, though, will start to kick them. They may have to look for 3 stops.
Yeah, that's a good move, though, from Jeffrey Lawler. He needed to get that passed on Lyle Pinar, and he's basically left him out there at this stage to go and stay with Florian Kammeyer and Adam Webb, who we haven't seen race Adam Webb since Monza last year. It's the last time he scored points, and so he ran on a schedule of, I'm not really going to run for the second half of the year, as he looks to now try and build a championship up right now. Our focus over to EOA. Edward Apari-Ari looking to eye up Alex Hagland for position, who had a breakout year last year. Did Alex? No move then for him, as through goes Edward Apari-Ari for the place. Emil Bernsdorf now looking to attack Jacob Reed. This for 3rd out there at the moment, and they're already 5 seconds off the back of the race lead through 6 laps. Jacob Reed can't keep the same pace as the leaders because Bernsdorf's on a medium, Jacob Reed on a hard.
This is really not really damage limitation for Jacob. It's more of a case of just holding your delta and making sure that you stick to that time and be consistent, because you're going to be able to work out your time when you get to that second pit stop. You'll be able to really just start to crank it up and just go, okay, I'm here now, and I've got the fresher tyre, I've got the better tyre. So even if he loses out to Burnstoff right now, he's not worried too much. But Emil's having some issues behind. Max Barnes also looking to get some moves at Sebastian Macau, looking to get it done. And again, another driver going a bit too deep into those corners. And again, that's one of the big ones. Hagland straight into the pit. Well, that's an early go. That's very early.
Lap 6 is early, and this is a big early bold call to get off those medium compound tyres. So Hagland's got a strategy in mind, and he's going to make this switch, get out of the dirty air. There's no need to jump up on the jacks, and he will look to leave the pits, but it's a long stop for Alex Hagland. So something obviously there not quite was necessary. He will leave on a set then of second set of medium, as now Lawler having to scrap with Webb. He's through. Now here comes Kamar into the final points playing position. Will have to go around the outside of Siberia to get the run for the hay shed. He will pick up traction off of the exit here, but this is so committed, and the clearance is there for Adam Webb. He'll hold for now.
Yeah, Florian had a little bit of a wobble there getting onto the throttle. I wonder if the hybrid just kicked in a little bit too much there for him. Didn't have the steering wheel straight and had to just catch the slide. I've seen that a couple times by some of the drivers. Remember, this is a new hybrid for the F1, for the W13. It was brought in season 4 last year. However, this is the first GP Tour that the drivers will have to do this on full length. They've driven this quite a bit with this new hybrid. However, this is the first time they get to put it into a full race distance. And that's going to be something that the drivers are still getting used to out there. Just because you know how it works doesn't mean you know how it works when it comes to the big time.
Exactly. So they've had a chance to run maybe about 30, 45 minutes. They haven't had the full hour 15 to an hour and a half experience to really go at it and see what this is all about at this stage. Group staying there, 10th, 11th and 12th positions. Webb, Kammeyer and Pienaar for the moment. Max Barnes and Sebastian Rekov back at it again. Rekov trying the outside, looking to pick up run off of the exit. And so now this is going to be as tough as things are going to go. Here comes the drive then from Rekov, hoping to find an understanding, but it's not going to be a chance this time over at Lukey Heights. Max Barnes has got that covered and scouted. So Rekov for the moment, happy to stay in this margin at the moment, but we'll understand here that Max Barnes is car 21 of 21. He's got the lowest iRacing in the field.
He's not driving like he does at the moment. Of course he wouldn't be. It's still a very stacked strength of field. Remember, 5,470. And Sebastian goes on by using the DRS. And also up ahead, Jeffrey Lawler getting past Michael Rideau as well for a move up into 8th. Jeffrey, just a shout out there, up 10 places. We talked about the hard charge that Emil's had up into P3. But silently, Jeffrey's gone up 10 places on this medium, and he's still got pace out there, and he's still lapping faster than a few drivers up ahead of him. So he's got a chance to go further up the field right now. That white and black car is really looking dangerous out there.
Yeah, it is looking dangerous, and it is trying to prove that today there are going to be chances to go and chase the two-time champion Jacob Reed, all-time point scoring leader, most wins, most second places as well in the Grand Prix Tour, against a driver of Emil Bernstorff's caliber who has been podium fodder for the longest time. But one thing that's been missing for the longest time for Emil Bernstorff has been a win. He hasn't won since VIR back in 2024. He is desperate, or 23, sorry. He is desperate for a win. It has been such a long time since he's been able to do it. Takes the wider line through the southern loop. He's able to save the tyre a bit more through this section and get better drive off the exit.
When you talk about waiting for a win, Jacob Reed has never won at Phillip Island, and it's been on the schedule every year for the GP World Tour. But this is a track that there's only about a handful of tracks, about 5 or 6 tracks he has not won at in this series, and this is one of them. And really, with the caliber of driver, he's done really well in other series around this track. You would think that this would be the chance, and I do wonder if he's taking this hard tyre strategy then he's going to be pitting around 27 laps, maybe about that time. I think if he's in the dirty air, he may have to come in a little bit earlier. These medium runners, they're looking at 17 to 25 laps of running on the mediums. If you can get it to 25, well done, that's very brave, but the latest you could go is about lap 23, lap 24. So he will be pitting later, but then he would have to use the hards a little bit longer. So just wait about another 10 laps or so until we see this hard tyre really start to fall off. But at the same time, those mediums will be falling off quicker.
Winners then over the last 4 years. Adam Gleeson in 2022 as Sander Halgaru straight down the inside of Volta looks, gets the move done there as the medium still looks racy here against the hard tyre. And so that's a nice accomplished pass to get it done. Ben Fuller won here in 2023 by a whole lap, believe it or not. He was that dominant on that day. Jordan Gronkowski won in 2024, the Scot, and then the reigning champ Eduardo Radice winning here last year. So proving that this is going to be a series where you can go and get victories, and you can find that no driver here has won this one twice. Looks is a very good driver to hold himself steady, as we'll take a little look here with your GSRC replay. It's George van Rensburg again, just runs a little bit too wide, grabs the grass there out of turn 11 and finds himself pretty much almost stranded on pit entry, takes the tow back to pits, and George van Rensburg, if he's not careful, will get his 19th retirement in Grand Prix Tour.
I think he might be taking that. He's having to take the tow. I wonder if he's got a little bit of damage there, but in qualifying, some of those drivers were really pushing the limits there on turn 11, just dipping their tire just a little bit on the grass, but that was just a full grab, and the grass just grabbed and threw him around there, and that's unfortunate for van Rensburg. Wonder if he's going to be able to get back out onto the track. Jacob Reed, well, give credit, he's on the hard tyre, and now is about probably the time that he might be able to start attacking with this hard tyre, because Burnshoff, Emil's got a bit too wide there out of the Miller corner, and I wonder now if those tyres are starting to just cry a little bit. Wouldn't say there's a lot of delamination or a little bit of shredding on those tyres, but right now, Jacob's looking racy. Be interesting to see the lap times when they come up in a couple laps.
Well, last time by, Bernstorff did a 10.2. It was a 10.1 by Jacob Reed. These cars are full of fuel, so they're not going to be anywhere near the qualifying lap times that we saw, which were in the 106s out there and the 105. So they are full of fuel. They will burn it as this race goes on, and when they have better tyres to go out there and play with. So this time as they cross the line, Jacob Reed a 10.4, a 10.6 from Emil Bernstorff, and tell you what, you're not going to be able to do too much against that, because Jacob Reed finds the way through, gets back up into third position, and wants to try and lead that chase over to James Byrne in the number 2 car at the moment. So that's going to be the eyes on next, and there's not much more except that to be said. A very nice, and I'd like to say a bread and butter basic pass.
You know, I could do with some bread and butter right now, but I tell you who could love that as well. I think Emil needs it as well. Goes wide again for Miller. That time just by. So those tires are really starting to struggle right now. But also just remember, that's where they're going to get a lot of crosswind. Remember, it's still now about 34 kilometers an hour wind out there, and it's still southeasterly. So it's still going to be a little bit, well, southeasterly is going to be helping them, but it's more east than southeast. So that's going to be a bit of an issue for some of the drivers. The African now, Lai Pinia, still pushing on as well, trying to get that top 10, but right at the moment, he's 3 seconds behind Kamaya, who is in 10th. He's just having to hold off Raquel and Adam Webb at the moment, and then you've got more drivers behind as well. It's a good old train, and they really want to be looking forward to try and get into that top 10.
Lalpina now, the sole South African remaining. We're getting word that it's rear wing damage that costs George van Rensburg here. Here comes Sebastian Rekov down to the inside. That will move him up to 11th place with a very accomplished pass. Adam Webb's going backwards through the order. Balazs Galliard is there. Max Barnes is there. Kent Nielsen is there. The most experienced driver in all of the Grand Prix Tour is Kent. No one's got more starts than the Canadian.
And really, this is what he would love to be right now, is to be right there at the back of this train, because he's starting to see some of these drivers start to lose some of that tyre control right now. And I think that's what's happened to Webb, going backwards. Mainly, I think, a lot of issues with the tyres. 36 Celsius now, the track temp. The track's going to get hotter and hotter through the race, which means you've got to be looking after those tyres. Be smoother on the throttle. Ballas right here, Galliard He has the medium tyres. He'll be looking to go a little bit longer, and give him credit, did not set a qualifying time. He's up 7 places already. A real good work there, and he's in a nice little slot here to get a few more places, but timing's going to be crucial right now. And I just realized we're going to be coming to the pits soon, Jake. The pit lane entry here has been reported this week to be dangerous. Drivers have been messing up the pit entry and getting penalties for either being too fast or not safe enough and crossing the black lines.
Kent Nielsen through on Max Barnes, then through turn 1 and confirms it at the southern loop. Then at turn number 2, we know Alex Hagland has already made 1 stop in this race. He's only 36 seconds off the lead. He's currently doing 1:10.2, so I'll be interested to see where he comes out by comparison to everybody else. Remember, his stop was a little long, so that has something to note of at this stage. Kent Nielsen happy, though, with his position compared to Max Barnes, and this entire group that's now working. Your biggest gainer in the field is Jeffrey Lawler right now. He is up double digits, 10 places, 18th to 8th.
Don't really hit double digits all the time, really, when you come to this series, but he's had a real good drive, kept his nose clean and kept away from it, like these drivers as well. Kent really looking to just push on, but just a slow exit there out of 10. It comes down to 11 and 12. Let's go to EOA at the front here, trying to now battle Emil Bernstoff, and this is what I mean. Emil started to lose a lot of time to Jacob right now, and I feel that he has cooked these tyres. Remember, he had to start in 10th. He had to work hard to get those overtakes, and again, it's a lock-up. It's going too wide there. I feel, out of all the drivers, and this is a bit of a shock, the first driver to really struggle with tyres out here today is Emil. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Well, you've got to remember, he's actually still holding a great pace. He was quicker than James Byrne and Eduardo Radice on that last lap. You can take a look at the rear wing as well. Flat bevel indicates medium downforce package on for Emil Bernstoff on his W13 E-Performance AMG Mercedes. So Emil is now going to try and get this run out of these corners, and these corners just scream at you because they take forever. You have to wait to put the power down, and you're always putting load through the tyres. That's why this is such a tyre wrecker, because this place, you're going up here on the straight. He's 300 kilometers an hour, slightly derating into the opening corner. Behind him, Edward Apariari at 308k going in towards turn number 1. And behind that, Volta looks trading about places with Sander Haugerud.
Yeah, they're just trading, using that DRS, and you want to use that slingshot as well, because they're basically getting to the back of that battle in front of them as well. Is that a mistake for Jacob Reed there? Is that a mistake for one of the drivers? Drivers just catching a bit too much there. It's a blink as well, so, well, you don't want that. The last thing you want is to lose out on connection, but Jacob is still driving, and look at the gap he has made. More battles as well. Adam Webb still going in. This is interesting. A lot of overtakes happening at Miller. Didn't expect it this early, I must admit.
Well, Adam Webb around the outside of Lyle Pienaar. That is to get the place back for 12th. And now it's Balazs Galliard who's going to be over like a rash. Thinking towards the inside is Balazs, but backs out of it over the top of Lukey Heights. Back down the hill then into turn 10, looking to get the run off to the exit of the corner and then into turn 11. It's the last great place to get moves done there at turn 10, because you're pretty much flat out from this point onwards as you climb over through 11 and 12 and get another lap sorted. Already 18 laps have been ticked through of lap 69. I think we are firmly in the wheelhouse here of those who want to make a stop. And through turn 1, Balazs tries, but ultimately is covered by Lyle Pienaar. And this at the moment in this group, as Phillip Kunhardt is down in pit lane now to get his first stop done. It's attack or be attacked.
Yeah, and you've got to go for the attack here, but the defense was on. And again, remember, like I said to the start of the broadcast, around the outside of Doohan Corner is usually a good way to hold your position out there, as Phillip's going to come out of the pit, just straight in and out. He's gone to the hard. A very different methodology there, going medium then to the hard. What can Nielsen do here? Almost getting a look out there through the haystack at 7 and up into 8, but can't get it done. I've seen that a couple times now, Jake, by drivers. They have that momentum to look to try and go side by side up into Lukey Heights, but no one's gone for it. They're just happy enough to just keep it calm and just hold on to the safety of those tires.
James Byrne now really starting to drop back here. He's now 6 seconds off of the race lead. He's only 2 seconds ahead now of Jacob Reed at this point. So Eduardo Radice, your leader, and quite happy with it. Back to the inside goes Lyle Pina on Adam Webb, and he gets it done without too much worry. Now, here's the next bit of concern that this group's going to have. The more they keep chopping and changing like this, the more Sebastian Rekov and co get involved, and so you're starting to think, well, if you're going to let these drivers run away, that's going to be big in terms of this race, because they'll just be scrapping amongst themselves, and the hope of points will soon disappear. Big slide there from Adam Webb as he tried to jam the power down, had to correct it a tiny bit by holding the throttle, lifting off slightly, making sure that the car wasn't going to snap around on him, and did okay. So now they've got Kent Nielsen, Max Barnes, and Ali Goachman in the train.
Yeah, it's a big train, and remember, Galiar's the only one in this train that's on the hard tyres. Well, I say that Ali Goachman is well on the hard tyre at the back of this, but only just getting to the back, and that just goes to show how much they've been in this little train. A correction there from Galiar, and has to hold it. Very good hold. Too much on the throttle. Power just came straight in, losing it. He goes to the back of this. I think that's not too much of a worry right now. He's still got that DRS, as we saw. He's still got the opportunity to look for opportunities, and he does have the hard tyres. That might be not too bad of a mistake.
No, it's not the end of the world, and there is Ali Goachman trying to get the hard tyre to work at this stage of the race. So everyone is now starting to think about, where's my strategy going to lie compared to everybody else? And Ali knows that he hasn't been up in the top split for very long. He's had to work hard over the winter, Craig, to build his iRating up, to be a consistent driver, and even still, he's only the number 20 out there at 4,100 iRating. So it's a driver that needs to find maybe 5,000 to be secure. James Byrne, though, in the sights here of Jacob Reed, who does a 1:10.2 on that last lap and was the fastest driver on that last lap. So James Byrne is going to be in the sight, and he's going to need a little bit of help from his spotter. Not many drivers run a spotter. He's the only one running a spotter today, is James Byrne. It's his dad spotting for him, Jamie.
Oh, I've done spotting before for someone in this series, and it's fantastic because you get the ability to tell them they're on this tyre, they're doing this, they're doing that. There's DRS happening and overtakes is happening with the DRS in the back like we're seeing right now. Having just a second set of eyes to tell you what's happening is crucial, because only when you have a quick look to hear someone pitted, you don't know what they're doing. You're going to just hope for the best that you understand the situation. So having that extra set of eyes and having a mouth, Pinar goes into look for a moose, almost getting caught up there. We'll have to defend this around the outside. A little bit of an apology there from Barnes as they make that move. They don't want to be doing too much of this, and they start to lose out. Nielsen in front of them, and that's something, if you had a spotter, they'll be telling you, you know you're losing time right now. You might want to think about something else.
Craig, I was going to say he got into the side pod, but this is a zero side pod design.
He got into the side skirt then, I think, is the best way we can say it. Jacob Reed goes for the move straight away, and he gets up into P2, and he was 7/10 faster. James Byrne, pardon the pun, Jake, I think he's burned the tyres off.
I agree with you, but I think Jacob Reed has been able to hold a level for longer right now, and that's the scariest fact. James Byrne knows that he's just got to manage at this stage, and there's the move again from Max Barnes. Absolutely wonderful through 1 into 2. You'll see that all day long, and a lot here on Friday nights, as now Ali Goachman trying to get himself involved with this one here, as Lyle at the moment finds himself the proverbial cork in the bottle through Casey Stoner into Jack Miller. Cards off in front. That's Adam Webb, who's gone a bit deep. He's got to be careful on the rejoin as they all pinch up. Goachman gets his past as the Turkish driver, and Lyle Pinar has to just sit by and wait for it. So easy to outbrake yourself through into the corner, and he was scared, was Adam Webb, by his own teammate, Kent Nielsen.
Never exactly when you want his teammates going into teammates. It's happened to me twice in one race. We don't talk about it. It's one of those things that you then don't want to talk about it afterwards, because it's just a very awkward conversation. So the last thing you want is to hit your teammate. The next thing you don't want to do is to ruin their race, and because just holding him up a little bit there, might have just called that. Now, can Galliard use this DRS? And they both got DRS right now, but earlier straight on was Galliard, and there will be a little bit of slipstream. We'll have to try and do this on the inside of Doohan, which means we'll have to go around the outside of the southern loop. He's not going to be able to do it, gets a bit too far away, and just decides to just save the tyres, because a lot of load is happening on the tyre tents right now through these elevation changes, especially at the southern loop. And if he's on the hards, he needs to just nurse them to just go about +5. Late braking there for Vineyard.
Too late.
It's gone too deep.
Yeah, he's now going to have to skirt across the grass here, try and gather it back, and he'll manage it, and he'll cost himself about 3 or 4 seconds. So that will hurt, but ultimately not the end of the world here. There's a lot of runoff at Phillip Island. It's very much a case that they blocked the circuit here and said, you've got a lot of grass, try and deal with it. Radice is your leader, but I want to go over to the battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th right now, because Florian Kammeyer has been quietly putting in the hard yards here, Craig, and he has been closing down Michel Rudeau and Jeffrey Lawler.
Yeah, got into the DRS range. If we're looking at Eduardo there, here is Jeffrey Lawler trying to battle on, and if they just keep battling, Rudeau is the blue and the white in the back of these two. If they keep fighting, Florian is going to keep on catching, and it's been a real good drive up for Florian, up 5. Better for Lawler, up 10. Still the hard charger, but Kammeyer is on the hards. These two are on the mediums, as you can see with the yellow ring. That's going to be too much for them, because they've been fighting quite a bit. All that dirty air is going to be costing them a lot of time with the tyres, a lot of time trying to fight through. And I think that's just happening there with Rudeau, just starting to lose out here. If I'm Florian, I'm looking to really jump up to make a move right now.
I would be as well, and I think it's going to be critical to see who dares to make a move and who dares to say, I'm just going to be happy with where I am, staying steady and holding my ground at a moment like this. Goachman inside then of the hay shed, long way around Lukey Heights, over the top, will confirm it down the hill, as now here comes a chance too. Edward Apariari goes through on Emil Bernstorff, but a great pass by Ali Goachman there to get the move done, and now we're going to get takers down in the lane. So a couple drivers are going to bite and say, I want in. We've got a car out wide. That is Lyle Pienaar struggling. So Max Barnes is down in the pits.
Yeah, we also have Raquel just losing control of the car through 11. Catches the car, but went onto the grass. Max Barnes straight into the pits, though, was on the mediums. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the softs. Now, that's an interesting strategy, because that means he's looking at, well, I'm going to guess he's going to stay on the softs for another couple stints as well to look for that. That's one of the original fastest methods that they were looking at for today before the hard tyre really came to fruition. But at that point of the race, that's going to be a really tough time if you get those tyres cooked a bit too much on this 37 Celsius track tent.
Oh,
Galliard goes side by side with Goachman, and Goachman says, I can't do that anymore.
No, lifts out of it, doesn't want anything more. That was brilliant work that needed to be done as they went through. This was Sebastian Rekov's issue as he went through turn 11. So the back just trying to hold, and then it just snaps as he tries to get that final application of torquing on the board and say, here we go. We've got a car off the road. It's Jeffrey Lawler who's just spun. Sorry, Jeffrey Lawler off the road, skittering into the gravel. Kammeyer was very much on the radio. He dived for the inside. I was not happy about it, and Lawler covered off the move, and by covering it off, he found himself skittering into the kitty litter.
Here we go. Just look at this right now, and you'll see right behind, just goes for it. And I think Lawler was just covering off there a bit too late and had to do that reactionary move, and goes off into the grass, loses all the grip of the tyres, and then finds the beach. And that's not the beach you want. The beach you want is the beach after the race on the coastline. Unfortunately, that's going to send him down, because remember, that's downhill on that gravel. You've got to work your way back up the hill, and you're not running up that hill, Jake.
Yeah, so for Jeffrey Lawler, he's now back into 10th position. This is what happened to Lyle Pienaar, then going through turn 11, top right corner of your screen, as he is running through the left-hander, same one where Sebastian Rekov had his moment. His slide happens earlier, so grip goes earlier, and he finds himself very much in the gravel there, so he has to limp himself out of it and continue on. So we're seeing a couple of drivers coming in making stops, but looking around towards a 2-stop more likely. Goachman to the outside of Balázs Gallia sweeps around him at turn 1 there at Doohan corner. That's Mick Doohan, not Jack. And that pretty much holds a line there, and Ali Goachman holds himself steady with that. Emil Bernstorff, as we know, has lost the place out now to Edward Apari RE, and Edward here is a driver who did do very well in qualifying here a year ago at Phillip Island. It's a circuit that he gels with, and he's finally getting the race here. He didn't get the race he wanted here 1 year ago. He's proving he can get it now.
Proving you get it now, and I'm just looking at these front runners as well as Hagarud comes in to the pits as well to take the pit. The hard runners right now are lapping faster than the mediums, and you see that's why we're seeing Apari overtake and start to pull ahead of Bernstorff, and Emil's going to have to really just wait on for this. What's Sander going to do? Is he going to go to the softs, or is he going to go back onto the mediums? Up he'll go, down he'll go. He'll stick with the mediums as well, so he's going to go for that run, and that's about what we're predicting right now. Looking for a 2-stop. If you can hold it now, the fuel weight, all that fuel tank is going to be a little bit lighter right now. So that's going to allow the drivers to use more of the tire. They won't get hurt up too much with the weight. That's very vital. So mediums, yeah, 2 stops do look possible, but these hard runners are driving really quick right now.
Well, I'm looking at that for Sander Haugerud. That looks like a medium soft as a strategy. Sebastian Rekov then will leave pit lane, and Rekov is on a soft tyre out there, and you're probably only going to get about 15-16 laps of that soft tyre to be good, so that would indicate more of a 3-stop, but it's about the offset between a medium and a soft, between 2 soft tyres, and what you feel comfortable with out there in a race like this one. Goachman happy in 13th position, and for the first time, Eduardo Radice is going to have to deal with a little bit of lap traffic at the moment, with Rekov, who's just come out of the pits, and Norton Motta as well. So as we head through, Michel Rudeau looking to make his first stop of the race.
Yeah, Rudeau straight into the pits as well. It'll be interesting to see what they go for as well. Will Rudeau go to the mediums? Will Rudeau go to the soft? It's the soft, so going for a free stopper as well. And that's kind of what the drivers are a little bit more happier with. There's only 2 tracks on the series as we keep watching this fantastic battle. There's only 2 tracks on the series where the hard tyres are really feasible. This is one of them. So I think some of the drivers are probably not wanting to dip their toes into the hard tyre. If they're happy enough to go a medium soft route, they'll go that medium soft. It's still a decent strategy, but the strategy keeps changing throughout the week when the mediums and the hards start working out. But if you're used to it, don't change what isn't broken.
No, don't change what's not broken. If it ain't broke, you don't fix it. Haugerud, when he came out of the pits, he's actually behind Kent Nielsen, and this is actually a really difficult moment in his race because he's got to try and find the pastors, Sander Haugerud, as Balázs Gallia is keeping his focus right now. And Kent Nielsen, for those who haven't seen him race before, he gets the elbows out with absolutely everybody. He is the toughest character in the field to pass.
Well, we like a bit of hard racing. A hard is fair as long as it's fair and as long as it's fine. It's really good to start to see, but a little bit too far away. That's just say that DRS really goes. I keep forgetting there's no cutoff there because it's fully flat out there, and Sander's going to make that move straight away. He'll get that through. Gallia overtakes Goachman once again. They're having a nice little battle in the back of this field. Pinar into the pits as well. So just the top 12. 12 at the top. Yeah, leaders in. I was going to say some of the top 12 yet to pit. Here comes the leader.
Yeah, you've got to get down to 72 kilometers an hour on a single track pit lane. Either side is littered with grass. Oh, James Byrne gets into the grass. He's got to try and slow it down. I don't think he has done. He's got a speeding penalty. James Byrne has a speeding penalty. And because of that, he'll be stationary for an extra 40 seconds.
Well, we talked about it, didn't we? We talked about how some of the drivers today had a little bit of issues earlier on with the pit entry. It's fast and it's also tight, so the grass is going to hold there, so Eduardo will come out. He's on the softs. That's a surprise. James is on the softs as well. Lux goes on to the softs, and, well, then James has to then sit there for another 40 seconds. He's been a naughty boy. That is how big the mistake is. 40 seconds, that will send him out of the top 10. That's going to be a very tough run to try and get some points today.
And look at Sander Haugeru's gap over Volta Lux as he's come out of the pit. He's got a mile on him because he's just set the fastest lap of the race. There goes Jeffrey Lawler flying by. James Byrne is still stuck at stationary at the moment, waiting for this one to get all sorted. So this is really going to hurt. Now he departs pit lane. He'll almost be a lap behind as far as it currently stands. Eduardo Radiz, who is currently 17 seconds back of Jacob Reed, the leader of those who have pitted so far. But Volta looks here. He's now got himself a chance. He thought about it at Lukey Heights with Ken Nielsen. We need to go over to a replay. He won't get it now.
No, won't get it now. Here's that replay with James. He'll come into the pits, and it's very tight. Look at it, trying to hold on and just taking too much of that inside, and then it just catches you. A little bit of a lip there on the side. Just catches the drivers out, and that was all it was for 40 seconds. Walter going to make a move right now. You can see Ken defend to the inside, but that's not the best place to go. The outside is always the best side for doing corner, and Walter is up once again. But remember, he's on the softs. Kent's still on those used mediums. That's a key overtake, though, for Walter to try and catch up to Haugerud.
Well, if I had a dime for as many Austrians I knew who were called Volta, I would have 2 dimes, which isn't much, but it's very strange how I know 2 of them. But right now, as they stand and work for the mid-phase now of the race, halfway is not a million miles away. It's only a couple of laps time. And so that's going to be of really important note for everyone who's looking to attack the second phase of this race. 3-stop looks like it's completely out the window. It's a 2-stop day today with the cooler conditions. It's not 40, it's not 50 degrees. That would be more 3-stop territory. Emil Bernstorff really attacking Edward Apariari through turn number 1. Eduardo Radiz with the fastest lap of the race, a 107.9. He's trying to hunt these drivers down at 4 seconds back. He's almost a full pit stop ahead of these drivers who are just on the cusp of the podium.
But remember, Emil's gone longer then. He's now +3 on these mediums compared to what Eduardo was doing. So he's really trying to crank as much life out of these mediums that he can, and maybe run a similar strategy to what these hard drivers in front of him are doing. So look for that. Look as well, Adam Webb losing a position out there to Kent Nielsen. Also going a little bit wide on 2, because I just saw some gravel there that he just picked up. He's on the wrong side here up Lukey Heights. And also I think that's just going to, he holds on to it. But what can Goshman do? Everyone's down behind as well, because look behind. Those are drivers that are pitted on soft. They want to get by fast.
Yeah, Michel Rudeau goes by. James Byrne, in a fit of anger, sets the fastest lap of the race, a 7.5. Then as he's off and away, in comes Emil Bernstorff then to make his first stop of the day. And I note there that was actually a bucket of dirty air for Adam Webb. That's why he dropped so much time. But Emil Bernstorff then pitting from what was 3rd position at the time. He will look to get on and off and away again. And Emil will leave the pits with a set of the hard tyres by the looks of it. That's a 1-stop.
Well, that's something we've not seen, especially with the tyre temp, with the track temp today. That's something no one knows. So we're into the unknown here. Emil must know something we don't know. That's going to be interesting. He may, in a last-ditch guide at the end, may have to dive in for some soft for a quick run at the end, but he's going to have to take those tyres to the end. Now, we're on lap 34 of 69, so that's a long time to go. But look how long he made those mediums work, Jake. I think he's got a chance, like Rudeau's got a chance right now. And in fact, Galliard decides it's not worth fighting this. He allows Michael to go on by.
Yeah, easy for Michel Rudeau to get the move done. Galliard knows it's not his race at the moment. He's in 10th. There's your leader, Jacob Reed, 35 laps on a set of hard tyres, and he's got about 12 seconds over Eduardo Radiz right now. Edward Apariari being hunted down for that second place. Look at them now. They're nose to tail as they had to both get by Lyle Pienaar. That was the saving grace as they went through. Now, the difference between one tyre and the other is 1.8 seconds, and you get respected to some respects as a champion. The inside line is there for you at Jack Miller. It was side-by-side at Casey Stoner. Edward knows his hard tyres, they just don't stand up to the might of Eduardo's mediums.
But I wonder, can those hard tyres of Jacob Reed stand up to this? That gap's 10.5 seconds, and it will close because he's lapping almost a second faster than Jacob Reed, but the fastest driver on the used hards at the moment, although the used tyres full stop, is Jacob Reed up ahead. So it's damage limitation. And I'll tell you what, if Emil is going for a one stopper, with the way Jacob's driving right now, the way Pariari's driving right now, I think we're looking at one stopper for those drivers. This is completely thrown the strategy out the window. They've been able to use the track to their advantage. And in comes the Pariari.
Yeah, so he looks to make his pit stop. It could be his one and only pit stop here of this one, as he was struggling a little bit there onto the hard tyre. He will look around. He's got to go to a medium or a soft from this point on to the end of this race. Now, this will be telling. If it's a soft, it's a two-stop. A medium, it's a one. It's a soft tyre, so this is a two-stop, an aggressive two-stop.
Yeah, but I think he's probably thinking right now, I can't do it. Galliard, what have you done? Going a bit too wide there, and that, I think that's also trying to go into the pit lane, so that's going to be 40 seconds into the pit lane with a penalty, with an unsafe entry there. Kent's going to come in to the pits as well. He will go from the mediums, and he will go to the softs as well. So a lot of drivers being aggressive right now, taking the softs. I wonder if that's reactionary, because they saw some of the drivers go to softs earlier for a gamble of the dice. I think if those drivers went mediums, I think we wouldn't be seeing a lot of these red tires right now.
No, I don't think we would do either. And so right now, this becomes a very different race to what we have seen otherwise. You've still got drivers like Florian Kammeyer, for example, who's yet to come in. We'll get a little look at this replay, though, as Alex Hagland has a little wiggle on the back of Max Barnes. Galliard, I don't think he's even trying to get to the pit lane. The back's just stepping out, and he's trying to do everything he can as the Hungarian to try and catch it, and he just can't.
He just can't. And I wonder if that's also that wind playing factor again. It's still 33 kilometers an hour out there. And remember, that's just going to be hitting you through that 11-12 complex, because it's still easterly. And remember, the track is north. You're basically going around that. So the wind's going to be hitting you. Well, not hitting you and then hitting you. So I wonder if that was also just the balance of that wind, just throwing the drivers out. James Webb into the pits as well. From the medium, they will go on to another position as Hagland finally makes the move, gets it done, goes up. He's on the hards, remember, and he's been on the hards for a few laps now. Max has been on those softs for a lot of time.
Yeah, you remember Alex Hagland pitted on lap 6 as Adam Webb now leaves the pits in 16th position, straight up to speed. Let's take a little look then at this replay as he will join just about okay. Jacob Reed trying to get a lap on both of them here as he runs through, just about gets the clearance. Norton Motta is the car there, the Brazilian that's in play. So this is Jeffrey Lawler watching Adam Webb just in front, and Webb trying to go for the pit, and Jeffrey Lawler almost blocked him off and said, no, go round again. You have to pass go again before you get your 200.
Very weird line to get into the pit lane right there, and I wonder if that was just a mistake, going a bit too deep and then just got caught out there. If it was NASCAR, you'd be putting your hand out saying, hey, I'm pitting. This isn't NASCAR, this is Formula One. This is the iRacing Grand Prix Tour. You don't want to be seeing that. Sander Haggerud is, well, only driver right now at the front of the field on mediums for that second stop. Been on them for 11 laps right now and catching up to the back of Walter.
He's just lost the place.
And I think, yeah, he's lost the place as well. So I think it's interesting, really, because those soft tires are really starting to hit the wearing stage of the race, I feel.
So Walter Lux, who has now gone through against Sander Haggerud, will now be looking to try and build a gap at this point. In comes Norton Motta now to make his pit stop, back from about 17th, 18th place. But Lux is looking to build the margin now. That medium tyre will be good in about 10 laps or so, when it's got that ability to jump up and say, hey, look, this is me and this is what I'm capable of doing. I'm looking around at Jacob Reed and Florian Kammeyer, who are trying to extend this one out as long as they possibly can. And actually saying that, off goes Florian Kammeyer. He'll go for a trip in the grass. It's off camber as you go there. Bye-bye, says Walter Lux as the Austrian passes the German. Now here comes the Norwegian, Sander Haggerud, try and get in. And Norton Motta, who's on tyres that are a lot better coming out of the pits, he might want to unlap himself, and he's got every right to do so.
Yeah, if he's got those fresh, shiny softs, he's going to absolutely try and get on by. Not a place you can get on by here through Siberia. Maybe we'll just get it right now as Sander's having trouble getting those tyres up to pace at the moment. He's still waiting for them to come to the prime. I wonder if Florian in the front here in that purple and pink car is going to look to probably go into the pits this time by because he's just made that one mistake. The tires have got dirty. Sanders got around there. Very uncharacteristic move. And he's into the barrier. What damage against the wing? I think he got lucky.
No, he got tagged. He got tagged there by Norton Motto. We were on board looking at it, and there's nothing that Sander can do. He'll feel very upset that the traffic's gone into the back of him like that. And on his debut, goes around and, yes, has to come in and get the damage service. So disastrous for Sander Haugerud, who will now look, probably hope that there isn't too much bad about it and try and get going the second half of this race. A disaster right now for the Norwegian.
I wondered, though, if it's not too much damage, does he come in and put some hards on? Is the next question. He does put the hards on. We'll see how long he's going to be in the pits, and it's quite a while right now if we're watching Jacob Reed still going out there. And he's now gone 40 laps. Now, this is going to be 41st lap. He will go on to these hard tires. I know we were talking about a one-stopper, and I know even though Radis is right behind him, but I know we're talking, well, he'd probably go into the medium. If he keeps tracking this out, Jay, on a 38 Celsius track in Australia, we may be talking about a hard soft run for Jacob Reed today.
It's not out of the realms of possibility here, and that might be what he's trying to hold. Radis has got the gap to 1.3 seconds. The two titans of this championship now will see each other on track for the first time today. Jacob Reed, the issue he had last season, the reason why he wasn't able to convert into a title win, his qualifying just was not good enough, and so he needed to find a way to try and get that sorted. Again, it hasn't quite worked out qualifying-wise. He got the track position, he's working on the strategy, but here Eduardo Radis will realise this is effectively for position. Now at this phase of the race, it's me versus you once again, sunshine, as if nothing has been the same. And in comes Jacob Reed. He won't give the satisfaction of an overtake. This will surely be for a medium to the end of the race.
It's got to be a medium now. It's too far away to look at the soft. Even with the light fuel tank, this has to be a medium, and that's still not bad, but it's going to take a few laps of those mediums to really just get into pace. He'll go on to the jack right now. It's softs. It is the softs. He is going to go 30 laps almost on those tires. Softs in this temperature. Jacob Reed, you're a madman.
He's going to have to baby them, and he's come out just ahead of Sander Haugerud and Volta Lux, so he'll be happy with that. Remember, Haugerud's a lap down, so he's managed to get out ahead of the lap car. He can immediately look at the Austrian, who is there at this point in time, to sit down and say, this is where the race is going to be. Now, here is the case of two different points. It is now the mechanical engineer by trade in Volta Lux against the data scientist, Jacob Reed.
Take a drink for that one. The Worcester man is now looking to get this going. And I wonder if things go south for him, he may have to look at another stop on these soft tires. So keep your eyes out on that. The pace he will get once he gets this tire up to temperature will be pretty good. But that means that Kamaya is the last man to pit. Well, Ghostman still yet to pit. They might go to the mediums, but everybody now is either on a soft or a hard, except for the drivers at the back we were talking about, who are on medium. Phillip here trying to just hold off Hagland, and it's going to be tough. They're on the hards as well, but one's been on them for, well, about 30 laps. One of them's been on them for about 25 laps.
Jacob Reed dispatching of a place, and so too will Edward Apariari through on Florian Kamar. We had our eyes for the final spot in the top 10 there, which is Philip Kunhardt for 1 point against Alex Hagland, who's on a very alternate strategy here at this point. And now look at the dirty air just harrowing there against Philip Kunhardt, as in comes Ali Ghoshman, leaving just one car out there overall. Kunhardt losing out, and watch out, because that's James Byrne who's flying on through. Points are not out of the realms of possibility for number 2, the American.
This would be a great recovery drive for him as well. Probably why he went on to the soft. Well, he probably already had the soft decided before he had that speeding penalty. However, he's had to make it work, and he is making it work. And already now up into 10th. He's got Hagland right ahead of him in 9th. Yes, there's about 25 seconds away from them and Jeffrey Lawler, so probably not going to be a P8, but a P9. Just any points right now would be a great recovery. Lux is now into the pit from P2. Remember, he took the softs early. I wonder if he's going to go on to another set of softs, but I wonder if that Jacob Reed decision has just sent ripples through the drivers right now going, Reed, softs at this stage of the race, a little bit ambitious.
Walter Lux is the sort of driver who has 5 different strategies available to him at any given point in time. Another set of softs for him, and he'll be out and attacking 25 laps to go as he sets it up. Alex Hagland, watch out though, because this is where James Byrne's going to want to try and find this chance to dive on through on the inside, and he will do here at turn 1. Easy through at Mick Doohan corner, and that is as nice as you go. It is quite ironic that they're allowed the DRS flap wide open at Mick Doohan corner. His son Jack Doohan, of course, famous for having the DRS open and crashing in practice at Suzuka.
Yeah, there's been those moments as well, and to be fair, Doohan, how many times has he crashed? Unfortunately, not the best of seasons for him, but things can still happen, and things can still happen. Definitely James Byrne as well, though. I wonder if he's going to be able to really start to catch up here. Walter Lux, by the way, did go back onto the softs, so that's a really good thing. Some battles at the back end. Motta getting past Hagerud as well, who are still trying to battle on. Remember, Motta onto the softs, took a second pit stop, and now Florian comes in. Everyone's now done at least one pit stop. Is Florian going to be brave like Jacob? I think he realizes right now it is the mediums, but he knows that a two-stopper cannot win the race. It looks like he's just trying to make sure he gets into the top 5.
Well, he'd love a top 5 from where he qualified 15th on the grid. He'll be behind, though, Hagland and Byrne, and he will be the guardian of 10th place for the moment. I'm looking at the lap delta here for Jacob Reed compared to Eduardo Radice. He did an 8.9 on the last lap. Radice has just crossed and done a 109.3, so that's only 0.4 difference in terms of tyre at the moment. We expect Eduardo Radice will have to pit at least once more. The question for Jacob Reed, how much of a gap is he going to have, and what will he be able to defend with late? He'll be able to take a bucket of time out. He does a 108.3, so he takes a full second out of Eduardo Radice on that last lap. But here's the catch at this moment in time, though, Craig. You can take a second now, but Eduardo's going to pit and take a second back out of you. So it's basically a game of, I'll take this time now, but you know you're giving it away.
Yeah, and I'm wondering when Eduardo will come into the pits. I'm thinking about lap 50 might be the golden number right there, and probably just a nice round number as well to go, because that will put him just behind Jacob. Jacob will have to nurture those tyres, and if there's anybody that can nurture any sort of tyres on any open wheeler, it's Jacob Reed. So he's got the best chance to take those softs to work. Looking to see if he can get it work. Max Barnes into the pits as well to come on for another set. So he's de facto out of this battle for a real good position, or probably looking for a point position, definitely. But Burnsoft here, this might be the decision of the day to go onto the hard. I think he may be all right here, because look at his times right now. He's doing 109.7, so he's kind of matching Radice right now, who's on the soft tyres. But how long can he just hold that time on the hards?
Well, that's the goal. Give himself some security here. He's now looking around at Edward Apari-Arie as the driver trying to hunt him down, as Lyle Pinar here for 20th position loses out to Sander Haugerud, who moves up into 19th. So Haugerud will make that push up, gain that place in what is trying to be as best as possible in this car, because it's one of the few cars on iRacing which doesn't allow trading paints out there by comparison. You're not allowed to actually update this car in its livery in any way, shape or form from the base colours. It sits there in 19th, trying its best to be Lando Norris.
Oh, I thought he was trying to be orange, like it was like a Dutch orange there, but no, definitely is trying to be like a Lando Norris or an Oscar Piastri. You would give some respect to both drivers there, and this looks like it's trying to be a Ferrari right now, with the Apari-Arie is looking good out there on the soft, but he's matching the times that Burnstoff is doing. And remember, they've been basically pitted at the same time, and if he's now matching Burnstoff times on the softs, well, that's a concern here for EOA, as he's probably going to have to look about that same time I was saying that Eduardo was pitting, about that lap 50-52 mark. to look to goes in the pits, and Lawler's having more issues out there.
Struggling with grit, and this is Volta Lux trying to get the place around him, and now they're going to drive Michel Rudeau. Pits for what could be his final stop of the race here on lap 48. So he will come in and make that stop. Lux breezes by Jeffrey Lawler and will say, yep, that's my place, and I'm not going to argue. James Byrne also in for his final stop of the day. Alex Hagland under pressure now. Here comes Florian Kamai on his mediums, looking to the inside. They both had DRS. Now indicate that tiny light break from Alex Hagland. He wanted a bit of extra grip there on the outside, washes about in the middle of the road, but covers off the line on the exit.
Also important moves, the leader's in. I was about to say, yeah, the leader's in. Now, what's Eduardo doing? This is early. I was thinking about lap 50. Well, this is going to help for Jacob Reed, definitely. Is he going to just go straight for the soft? Well, it's that stage of the race. You have to go on the soft, and he does indeed. Look at the gap it's going to be right now. We won't have to worry too much about Burnsoft. In fact, Emil is only 5 seconds behind, so I'd say that. Gap now is 5 seconds between first. The gap's 4 seconds between second and third. So all of a sudden, this has got very good. And remember, Apariari, there he is right behind. He's only 2 seconds, but I think he's at the equation. He's going to have to take a pit stop soon.
Look, it's 6 seconds to chase down Jacob Reed. You've got to pass him on track as well, and that's critical here today. So you're going to have to earn this win, Eduardo, and he's done so over the course of the seasons. He went on some magical streaks of winning over the early to mid of the season. Now Florian Kamai moving up as Jeffrey Lawler leaves pit lane. He tries to dive through on Alex Hagland. This time he'll get the move done as they go on to their 49th lap of the race. So Kamai up into 6th position with that move, and knows he's not going to get much more than that. He's just got to fend his places now between the final stages of this race. Phillip Kunhardt now down in pit lane. It's a hive of activity.
Yeah, you're getting to that final moment now. You know that the soft tyres lost about 20 laps out here, so this is what the drivers are now looking for. Is we're at that stage, especially with the lighter fuel tank, the lighter cars, really starting to just push home your advantage. This is going to be a big advantage for Jacob Reed, though. How long can he keep this 5-second gap to Rallick? He's made his bed. He's going to have to sleep in it. I don't think he's going to enjoy it. It's not going to be a memory foam mattress out there for Jacob. It's going to have to be something a little bit hard. Maybe feels the springs at the end of this race. But how is he going to be able to go another 20 laps on these tyres? I know it's a lighter fuel tank here, Jake, but I don't think that's possible.
It will all depend on how well he goes and saves the tyre, and if he's going to nurture the car through these long corners. He's not going to ask too much of them through the right-hand side tyres on this clockwise circuit. That's what you're trying to get. You see that the front left sometimes has a bit of a shine to it, as if it still looks somewhat new. That's the key that you're going to be playing with here. And Jacob Reed, look at that gap. It's already come down to 4.5 seconds. James Byrne did a 1:07.2 on a new set of tyres. Eduardo Radiz, I think, is looking to smash the fastest lap as he goes through. He does a 7.7, so only half a second shy of it, but a 7.7 plays an 8.7. That's a second a lap. And Jacob Reed, I don't think he's going to get the lap time delta if he has to come in 5 laps.
I think if I'm Jacob Reed, I'm coming in right now, because I don't think these soft tyres are working. Maybe the mediums with the right play, but with the mediums are giving him the pace that he needs. You do the maths right now. The gap's 4 seconds. They were a second a lap difference last time. We're in 4 laps. That's it. And realistically, then what's going to happen? Burnstoff's on hards. You've got a Apariari on fresher softs, so we'll have to go to fresher softs. Walter Lux as well on fresher softs. Kamai is on the mediums. You look at this, and Jacob, he's in danger of losing a podium spot right now. This is also for the back of the field, and Adam Webb falls down into 10th place for 1 point. Definitely Jeffrey Lawler, he wants more than 1 point. He managed to get ahead into 9th.
Yeah, so he's on 2 points, and here's James Byrne. He's still a threat for points as he will go by Ali Goachman through turn 1 and go and get the pass scored. So Ali Goachman will see James Byrne. He's on a mission right now, and he's running roughly, compared to Webb and Nielsen, about 2 seconds a lap quicker. So he is absolutely flying, trying to get into that top 10, and I reckon he will do by the close of play today.
But is he going to overcook those tyres? But remember, he pitted lap 47, and everybody else around him, Webb, 36, Nielsen, 35. So that's the lap they were looking at here, and now look how it's closing right now at the front. Eduardo's getting closer, and Jacob is getting scared. Well, he won't get scared, but you'd be a little bit concerned. 1.2 seconds were taken out last time, and the gap is closing. And I think this might have been the ambitious decision from Jacob. I know he can nurture tires, but he may not even get the win here. He might salvage the P2 because he is actually still faster than Burnstoff on those hards, and Mills looking after those hards to make it to the end. He's a little bit worried because he's going to have to go 50 laps almost with those hards for a Mill. It's doable, but I think that might just be all Jacob will have to wave the white flag, and I don't mean the last lap. Wave the white flag in this battle and just be content with second.
I wouldn't write him out just yet, though, because things can happen in races like these. They came together last season at Imola, and that was a flare of the dramatic between these two drivers, these two great champions of the Grand Prix Tour who will fight for the win. If Jacob Reed were to pit now, he'd come out behind Walter Lux in 5th place, and he would then have to hunt down Lux and not Edward Apariari, because he's now just come in for his last stop of the race. So that's him making his final pit stop, which indicates you can still have one more stop to go in this one to chase down. Look then from the rear there for Jacob Reed. A look on with Eduardo Radice. That gap under a second, and the Damocles will start to tell. The bell will toll, and it will say DRS for Eduardo Radice, the reigning champion.
But I did wonder just for a moment there, did we see Jacob just get it? Yeah, Jacob got the DRS of Ballas right in front of him as well. So he gets a little bit of a reprieve this time. There goes the wing, gets the lap traffic to help him there. And Galliard, he didn't know about it, but he's just saved Jacob Bacon one more time. The wing goes open, and I love what Daniel's giving us right now. You're seeing the rear of Jacob Carr while you're seeing the front of what Eduardo's trying to chase down. This is what we're expecting, and he's still battling right now as Eduardo, but having to go around the outside of lap traffic is really going to cost him.
Yeah, Balázs Galliard still on a long wait for points. Sebastian Rekov as well is in the same boat. They'll both be 14 races, no points scored, and you need a top 10 for points in this championship if you want to get it done. They'll also focus on iRacing Championship as well, but that's a different kettle of fish entirely. But Jacob Reed now will know that Eduardo Radice is right there at half a second, and there's nothing left to defend him now. Over the top of Lukey Heights, now into the next right. Hagland losing the place to Michel Rudeau. He'll move himself up into 7th position, but Eduardo Radice now has got his sights set. This one is for the race win, you'd feel, with 15 laps to go at Phillip Island. Jacob Reed takes a natural line. Eduardo Radice breezes by and says, see you in the douches. He gets the pass done. ERA leads Eduardo Radice.
Just a simple move as well with the DRS, but that's what he wanted. He didn't want to be hung up there and wasting the tires, but Jacob with that DRS was good. Walter Lutz into the pits as well. He will take his final pit stop, and that puts up Florian Kammeyer up into 4th position. He's on medium, so I think he'll be done for the rest of the day. EOA right behind Florian as well. Got a chance to get up into 4th, but Jacob now is on damage limitation. He's already out that DRS range. I don't think he would have been in it once he got out of turn 10. So now he's just going to have to match a delta with Bernstorff. And with that gap of, 16 seconds between those two, I think he's got the time on his hand to do it. He's still lapping a second faster than the man on hards.
That's critical, and I think Jacob Reed here, well, he'll stay out and he'll try and hold on with it. This is Florian Kammeyer, and that is Edward Apariari making mincemeat of the pass then into Miller Corner, named after Jack Miller, the MotoGP rider. Rudeau is there behind with Lawler, with Hagland, and Walter looks here late, who's in 9th. He's going to have to make all these places to get up, and keep note as well behind that. This is the fight for 1 point here. It's going to be Adam Webb, who's not scored since Monza last year, and James Byrne, who just easily dives down the inside and says goodbye.
But yeah, Adam's been on these softs since lap 36. He's been on these for 20 laps. He's basically doing what Jacob Reed's doing right now, but in the middle of a race. He's going to have to come into the pits at some point if he wants to try and salvage anything, and I wonder if that's going to be everything. There's other battles going on as well. Motta trying to battle on Nelson, and Nelson gets on by there for 17th position. The Brazilian's going to have to do it. I was just saying about that. Adam Webb did come into the pit. But I'll tell you what's interesting. You look at that timing tower right now. Radis has just exploded away from Jacob Reed at the front. That gap's now 3 seconds all of a sudden.
Yeah, and that's the difference in tyre that you're seeing here. Eduardo Radice is running around the 107s, the 108s. Jacob Reed, he's in the 109s. And there goes Volta Lux down the inside of Alex Hagland. That will be a change then for 8th and 9th position. So a good pass then finding itself scored. And there'll be more to deal with as far as this race will continue on. So a lot to try and unpack then in the final stages. Still some great battles. Jeffrey Lawler looking for 6th place at the moment against Michel Rudeau. We'll now look at the dive down the hill here to try and get something, and now needing the drive out of 11 and 12, but Rudeau is better at putting the power down by measure of having a little bit cleaner air, but this is where Jeffrey will come back.
Yeah, Jeffrey's going to be in the DRS range. DRS will go out, the wing goes open there, and Rudeau's got no help. That's just going to be absolutely caught. But the more they battle, the more that Lutz comes up behind them, and Volta is catching them. And that's going to be interesting, because if these two just keep on battling, they're on the same age of soft tyres as well. I wonder if Volta's just going to ease past them, and that P6 looks very achievable right now. And maybe even that top 5 is achievable, but Lawler having to now just manage what he can. 2.5 slower both these drivers were compared to the number 5 car right behind them. There he is. I think they're in danger. Cue the orchestra, Jake.
Yeah, and Volta Lux is going to get the chance then to close on both of these drivers. Jeffrey Lawler in his tied best ever finish right now in the iRacing Grand Prix Tour. His best is a 6th place. So he'll be looking to try and do as much as he can with this, but Lux knows that he's got Michel Rudeau right where he wants him. Takes a wide line through 11, trying to set him up on a dinner plate. He's so quick, he nearly had a look through the final corner of all things. He'll drive off of the exit. This is where the pace of Volta Lux is going to start showing itself, and now he knows he's not going to get much help because they're going to battle together here, and it's going to get close with Jeffrey Lawler here on the outside. The best defense is an offense, and Lutz trying to go to the inside. Rudeau has to leave the room open. Great pass by Volta Lux, and these drivers on a tightrope fighting against each other. Mega stuff, and now Lux might have a shot. Down the inside, goes from a mile back to try and get by on Jeffrey Lawler. Needs to drive off the exit now of Miller Corner to go around the outside here of Siberia with better grip. Thank you very much. Volta Lux just took his lunch money, but now does he have enough battery for Lukey? Over the top, he's got it.
2 in 2 there for Volta Lux. And I think that move coming down to the Douane corner was just a little bit of strategy there. They caught up to the back of Lawler earlier than I think both drivers thought they would. Thought they'd be able to just go side by side and swap them out. But unfortunately, there was a slow car with no DRS, and that was Lawler. And Lutz able to use what he could to really get ahead with that grip. Got a medium runner right now, but they are still battling as well as Jacob Reed goes on by. In fact, I can report, you see it on the timing tower, Lawler got past Lutz right away using that DRS. Just because Walter's got the fresher tyres, Jake, doesn't mean it's going to be all easy for him.
No, it's not. So it's not as guaranteed as you think it maybe is. And you look around at it and go, Jeffrey is holding himself to a very good standard right now. He will make Volta's life as tough as he possibly can. He knows what he's racing for, and he knows that Florian Kammerer is not a million miles away here in this group either. But if they keep switching about like this, fighting as hard as they are, they're going to drop so much time, and Kammerer is going to be a pipe dream. That's what they've got to open up and realise here. They've got to get these moves done quick, and they've got to get them done clean. We're already at 10 laps to go here at Phillip Island at the opener here on the Global SimRacing Channel.
Can Lutz get this? I think the key for Lutz right now is to get this done now and then use the whole of the track to just get ahead on the fresher tyres by about, what, 8 laps, 7 laps or so. Got those fresher tyres, need to use those fresher tyres right now. Lawler's sauce will start to cry out a little bit more. It's still that same track temperature we were talking about. The wind is still there. So that's not going to be a factor. They don't have to worry about that. But now, Lutz has to use this as much as he can. Half a second already is that gap. And you start to see it right ahead. They're catching. And I tell you what, he's in DRS rage. That would be better for him. He won't have to worry about Lawler when he comes next time by.
No, he won't. And so Florian Kamai here, who is on those medium compound tyres, they're not giving much. They're on a 109.8 at the moment. He's about 5.5 seconds off the back of Edward Apariari. And Volta looks, if he wants to make title applications here this season and go up that extra step, a top 5 at every round is a bare minimum. His favourite finishing position, believe it or not, for Volta looks. He is a master at finishing in 4th place. He has done so on 14 occasions. He's finished 5th on 12 occasions. And well, right now it's lucky 13 as he gets the pass.
Yeah, might need to get a lottery ticket as well if he gets that for 13th time. Looks will go across. He started 5th as well. Real good drive up the field and around the field with that strategy as Radis continues on. 6 seconds now is that lead to Reed, and Reed is just in tire saving mode. Eduardo is also in just safety mode right now. Doesn't mean he's going slower. It just means he's not having to take the risk. He's just still driving to what he knows and just goes on. I'll tell you one thing I've been looking at. Remember we talked about James Byrne? He's got that P10. Well, he's been lapping faster than Alex Hagland on those almost 50 lap-old hards. So that's an overtaking chance we'll have later on in the race. Max Barnes as well, looking to try and get on by as this little group of 3, they're battling for bragging rights.
Yeah, they're a lap down. This is 13th, 14th, 15th for Adam Webb, Max Barnes and Balazs Galliar, who's holding his ground quite nicely here in this race. Give some credit as well to Ali Gochman in 11th versus Phillip Kunhardt. That one is also going about right now for position, so they're trying to hold their ground as far as this race goes. But this has been one where we say that there is great driving standards in this series. And I think it shows by the fact that this is possibly the toughest car in iRacing to go and handle and jump in with. And we've only got one retirement, as now Max Barnes trying to deal with the chance of Adam Webb, who's on the fresher tyres, going around the outside, will now look to get the launch.
Yeah, we'll try to do this now. Will the DRS come in? It will straight away. We talk about it. One retirement, one incident, realistically, between multiple cars, and that's about it. Some near misses, but some hard racing. This is one of the top series when you come to a single strength of field race that you can get on iRacing. You can see why you've got the likes of 9K drivers, 6K drivers, 7, 8, 4K right here we're seeing right now, and they're still pulling on a show. And even though they don't really care about, well, they probably do care about the GSRC point system for the championship, what they care about is having a whale of a time. And that's not a whale out on the sea, it's a whale right here on the track.
You may not see it, you may not hear it, but I do know that there is care about scoring points, and it does mean something to these drivers. Phillip Kunhardt and Ali Gochman fighting hard for position and really trying to give as much as they can at this moment in time to say, look, I'm going to be best of the rest here at this stage, and really trying to go out for it. Only the point scorers currently on the leading lap with just 6 laps to go. It's close here from Kunhardt. He's going to have to go the long way around. He's going to have to go the long way around. He'll get the inside here at turn 2, the southern loop. Gochman stuck on the outside, have to lift, and Phillip Kunhardt now up to 11th.
Gochman was hoping that the tyres would give him some grip there, was willing for that car to get into the grip, but just nothing there around that outside. However, Phillip locks up the tyres, another one locking up at Miller, but holds the station. And then right behind as well, Adam Webb just making some moves as well. So now you get these drivers still battling for those bragging rights. The front of the field, very interesting. James Byrne is now on the DRS wing of Alex Hagland as well. And interestingly, Jeffrey Lawler has caught up to Kamaya as well. So these drivers that decided not to finish on the softs, well, they're starting to get caught up here, apart from Emil Bernstorff.
Yeah, Emil's caught the pace. He's got about 17 seconds, but Florian Kamar's the one in trouble. Alex Hagland loses the pass then. James Byrne up to 9th and 2 championship points at the moment. It's 5 seconds down the road to Michel Rudeau in 5 laps. I think that's a bridge too far for James unless there's a spin or a mistake. Kamai will be keeping his eyes peeled on Jeffrey Lawler late on here in the battle. And so for Jeffrey here, this is to get back to 6th place. And Florian Kamai from 15th on the grid. Jeffrey Lawler from 18th on the grid. Both of them eyeing up today and saying this is a great day. And Kent Nielsen is one driver. He has scored the most points in the iRacing Grand Prix Tour without a race win. It's the only thing Kent Nielsen would need to complete the point cycle, which is to finish P1 through to P10 over the course of your career.
And that's actually a big achievement to do that. So maybe one day Kent will do it. This year, you never know. Kent might be able to get that done. But it's going to be 15th today. Still battling, though, with Galliard in front. So might even be a 14th at the end of the day. But I don't think the gaps are there working to make any more time for the Canadian. But it just goes to show the longevity as well for the likes of Kent. Just driving and just keeping in the community and still here. Because it's one thing to be here non-stop, Jake. It's another thing to hold your iRating so you're in the top non-stop. Because remember, this is 21 of a possible 23, 24 cars on a grid. And they've been able to get it by. Max Barnes gets on by as well. So that's a great show of longevity for Kent.
Yes, that's Sebastian Rekov getting the pass then on Max Barnes. That's done to 16th, but there will be a chance to try and attack it back as they go up to Miller Corner. Outside turns inside and doesn't quite win on the brakes there, does Max. So Sebastian Rekov holds his ground and says, I'm happy. Kuhnhardt hasn't yet shaken off Ali Goshman at the moment. And you've also got to remember here, Jeffrey Lawler is within 0.4 of a second now of Florian Kammeyer. If you've been clever about it here, you can save up the harvesting energy and you might need to try and deploy it tactically over these laps at the big defensive zones.
I think they're going to have to as well. Hang on, a driver's gone off. Valter Lux has gone off. And Valter Lux has just lost the position there. It was too hard into Miller Corner. Got the tyres a little bit dirty. Has allowed Apariari away there. And that was a clear-cut P4 done there for Walter. And he's just gone and lost it.
Well, he was chasing down aggressive. He's just seen Norton Motter, the lap traffic, go back through. He remains fifth. But Walter, I think, now has to go back to the drawing board and go, I am going to have to settle for my 13th, 5th place finish in my career. And that is going to be all that as they sit and look at it. So there's not much more that you can really argue against it. I think that's going to be the story of what we've got. A couple of popsicle sticks remain for Eduardo Rodis. 7.5 seconds clear at the front of this field. And from the drop of the green flag, when James Byrne didn't get off the start, he has dominated here today. No other word for it.
It's just been a really good strategy here from Eduardo, using the tyres with advantage, understanding the situation, because again, drivers were thinking it was going to be a hot track. 38 Celsius is a hot track, remember, but in terms of Australian temperatures, this is cold. He took that to his advantage. He understood the assignment and worked out. And give a shout out to Jacob Reed and, of course, Emil Bernstoff. They've gone on one stoppers. And Jacob's only 8 seconds behind Eduardo on a one stop. Some real good driving up there. But you're trying to beat the champion. Even though you might be a champion, it's still his name on the crown right now.
It is, and Jacob Reed knows that he's given a great account of himself, but 7th in qualifying pretty much has written the story for what he's needed to do today. This was a damage limitation, and second by 8 seconds is nothing to shake a stick at of the way that today has gone. Emil Bernstorff in third, often runs on a part-time schedule as a Twitch streamer, as someone who makes some wonderfully instructive videos about his journey from reality into sim racing. He much prefers racing in sim racing. He thinks it's better than going out there and racing full metal, and that's something really cool. White flag lap has started though for car number 3, Eduardo Rodis. Here in this one, there are still places to be decided, like Florian Kammeyer versus Jeffrey Lawler for 7th position, and those for 6th position, those points are going to be very telling. That Kammeyer has got the legs at the moment in the black and purple machine, a winner in the Grand Prix Tour on 2 occasions at Aragon and at Sebring. For Jeffrey Lawler, he knows he's got to get close enough, but he's just not there, and they're trying to hunt. Volta looks down late, but Eduardo Rodis on the second half of the circuit already, running himself through the hayshed and up over the top of Lukey Heights. He's on a bit of a drought actually recently. He's 2 races without a victory. He got a 9th and a non-finish to end the season but he starts this championship as he will mean to defend it, because it is Eduardo Radice who will come to the line at Phillip Island, and he will take full command of the season opener. He wins in a very dominant display. Jacob Reed will get a well-deserved second place, and it'll be a long wait for Emil Bernstorff, who will join the podium here, and will note here in terms of his career, it will be the 13th time that Emil Bernstorff will step upon a Grand Prix Tour podium, with his 7th third-place finish in his career.
A great one as well on a one-stopper, using that hard as long as he did. Great drive there from Emil to take the podium spot. This is the last battle here. What has Florian got? He was able to stop Jeffrey to really go for a move on the start-finish line, and he's too far away, and a little twitch of the car there on the throttle for Lawler. I think this is going to be it. Florian has done a fantastic bit of defending, up 9 places for the day for 6th place, and it's going to be up 11 for Lawler into 7th. What could have been, but he'll be happy with that 7th.
And also on top of it, James Byrne will get 2 championship points in the number 2 car. So not the day you would have wanted, but remember, he got a 40-second hold for speeding. If he didn't have that, he would have been 3rd today, and that tells you a huge amount of points that he has dropped, the equivalent of 13 championship points, all things said and told. There's your winner, and it is, of course, a run for him. The number is going to be one of importance today. We've said it quite a bit. 13, his 13th win in the iRacing Grand Prix Tour. Let's get classified results then up on your screen, because Eduardo Radice, in a race time of 1 hour, 20 minutes and 36 seconds here today, wins by a margin of 8.4 over Jacob Reed, who started 7th, and Emil Bernstorff, who qualified the car in 10th, will be the last driver on the podium. Eduardo Pariari would finish 4th ahead of Volta Lux, with Florian Kammeyer and Jeffrey Lawler 6th and 7th. Michel Rudeau would be 8th, with James Byrne ruining it here today in 9th position. The final point belongs to the Swede, Alex Hagland.
Top 10 all finish on the lead lap, which means everybody else was a lap down. Adam Webb falls down into 11th, with Philip Kuhnhardt in 12th. Goshman makes up 6th. So does Kent Nilsson and Balazs Gallia. All of them making up 6 places to 13th, 14th, and 15th, respectively. Then Sebastian Ricau will be in 16th. Max Barnes will take 17th. And Sander Haggerud, after that issue earlier on with the wing, falls down into 18th place. What could have been for him. Northern Motter will be 19th, with Pinard in 20th, and one name at the end, just the one official retiree for the day, George Van Rensburg. Had that wing issue, had a couple issues out there, retired the car early.
It was the 19th retirement of George Van Rensburg's career, which means that he now moves to a 3 retirement margin at the top of those standings over Kent Nielsen. He averages about 1 in every 4 races, a retirement at current stats as it sits. But what a day's worth of racing here, Craig. We talk about why this circuit is chosen as the opener, maybe over Adelaide. Adelaide is what we would call the traditionalist circuit. It's tight, it's technical, it's all about keeping within the lines, and street circuits are slowly becoming what we normally see from Formula Star racing. But you come to a Phillip Island, by the way, that MotoGP are going to shy away from to go to Adelaide, and you still look at it and go, it can hang as a racetrack with every other circuit that you can think of. High speed, fast flowing, overtaking nature, the perfect replacement for an Albert Park.
And why don't people drive this track? And I've said it for the last few years. It's an underrated track, and I will always say that. It just has something for everybody. Even if you don't like high-speed tracks, fine. But you still got to battle the camber. You still got to battle the hard braking, the blind corners. You just have to just wait for your opportunities, and that's what makes this track fantastic. I know there's DRS on the start-finish line. Even if there wasn't here, Jake, that's still going to be a tough overtaking spot, but you want tough overtaking. You want it to be a challenge, and this has everything for drivers. And, of course, like you said, speed, because who doesn't want to go fast?
Let's talk about where we are for round 2 of the iRacing Grand Prix Tour, because on just 7 days' notice, they'll be heading to Mugello for that second round of the championship. And critically, with a circuit like this, last year, it was Jacob Reed versus Eduardo Radice. It came down to the final lap, and Eduardo Radice had a half spin coming out of Corintaio corner, which gave Jacob Reed the win. You sit down and realize Jacob Reed has a penchant for Italian circuits. In his last 8 Italian races, Craig, he's won 7 of them. The only one he didn't win was Monza last year, which was won by James Byrne.
And I think it's a track that actually suits Jacob. It's just one of those that's got that middle speed corners, a little bit of technicality, the camber and the elevation changes. It just works for him. I feel that's going to be the one that you look at it, even though you got the champion who won today. I think he just knows that he's going to have to go to the drawing board for next week, because Jacob, he may be the Worcester man, but he loves it in Spain.
He very much does, but he knows that Italy is on his mind. There's also more great racing coming up here. It's a bumper weekend on the Global SimRacing Channel. The Grand Prix Legend Series will be on championship alert at Monza as they go forward. Sim Racing Republic also on alert as they go, because the Sports Car Championship will be coming to you from the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. 4 hours of great racing there. It's over with IMSA Vintage. That will be kicking off at 5 o'clock then tomorrow, with Sonoma on the mind. And then the day after that, the Classic Lotus Grand Prix Series will be going to the historic layout of Mexico City, the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, as part of a Genesis Extreme production. That all to get then sorted on your weekend's worth of running. From the entire team that has brought this show over to you today, from, of course, Craig King, who's been alongside me, Daniel Costello in the director's chair, Dougie Beard's cameras that have been provided here for you. My name is Jake Sperry. Some things, when you get to a new season, are about change. 2026 in the Formula world is all change. Every single element of it is change. But sometimes things stay the same between one season and the next. It's not just good enough to get to the top of the mountain once. It's how many times you can get to the top of the mountain. It's back-to-back wins in the season opener for Eduardo Radice. He will get an all-important win here today, but he will also note that Jacob Reed is very good when Italy comes to mind. And guess what? That's where we are in 7 days. Eduardo's home soil, Jacob Reed's favourite place, and all the hallmarks of another classic championship just slowly starting to brew in the early stages. We'll see you in 7 days' time for racing action in the iRacing Grand Prix Tour when we head over to Mugello.